Hi, and welcome to the Sci-Fi and Sunshine podcast. Hey everybody, it's Bria at the Sci-Fi and Sunshine podcast. I decided to take a walk and go live again. It's been a minute since I've done a live, and of course I'm doing it right as someone is leaf blowing. I'm on the Pinellas Trail. As mentioned, part of the reason I'm naming the podcast Sci-Fi and Sunshine is because I live in the Sunshine City, in the Sunshine State. I'm a running mom and a speculative fiction author. And I'm hopefully going to get past this leaf blower because I don't know how well you can hear me at the moment. So today's episode, I've been catching up on a little sci-fi news. And when I say sci-fi news, I actually mean just the news. Good morning. Where things that are happening in the real world are very much, you read articles, they're genuine news articles, but they kind of look like sci-fi when you're reading about them. So I'm going to try something that I don't know. So the funny thing about me is I love sci-fi, but I don't necessarily love using tech. So I don't necessarily figure stuff out before I just go for it. So I want to read this article, not, hi sister, that's my sister, she's joining in, my fan. So I have this article, I have a couple articles. I'm not going to read the whole articles, I'm just going to hit a couple highlights. Actually, my sister, Larissa, sent me one of these interesting tidbits about quantum computer breakthrough in China, which is actually a little bit concerning. It's kind of a lot concerning. But the first article that I wanted to glance at is about possible life on another planet. We've all seen those articles, right? They've been coming out for years. And it's funny because that tends to be, oh, hello, hi, Larissa's commenting. It's one of those things where there is such interest in general. Most people do seem very interested in the idea of life on other planets. Can we prove that there's life on other planets? No, we cannot. We have not. But the possibility, so that's the key word. And so I'm gonna attempt to open this article while still going live. So here we go. We're doing some real life. I think it paused it. It didn't let me read that, did it? Okay, so when I opened up a new window to try and read this article, it made it look like it paused it. So that is apparently not a thing that I can do. Okay, well, good to know. Now I know. Okay, Larissa's confirming. Thank you for being my guinea pig, sister, because I was not sure how that would work. Oh gosh, the sun, I don't know the best way to hold the phone now because the sun is kind of behind us. Okay, well, the article is basically titled bombshell, biosignature could mean possible life on this other planet that they just discovered. The article is talking about the James Webb Telescope discovering this. I'm not going to remember okay, I'm going to pause you all. Did it unpause? Okay, so dimethyl sulfide was apparently what was discovered with the James Webb Telescope. And so this discovery means that's a possible building block for life. So, I always find these things interesting. So, as a Christian, I believe that God created everything, that all matter, time and space came from Him. That God is outside of that, so that's why He can create matter, whereas we cannot. We humans cannot. So one of the interesting things to me is that all these ideas of possibility, and I tie it into okay, so this is me taking it back to actual sci-fi. To me, the possibilities are all the stories that could be told. Even though there will probably never be a proof, of these things that we can just constantly discover new planets, because they're constantly discovering with the abilities of these telescopes to look out farther and farther. It's the language isn't going to change. It's going to continue to be possible. There's this possibility. And there's a bunny. There's a bunny. Oh, it got away. I'm sorry, I wanted to show you the bunny. It hopped away too fast. It was so cute. Okay. So that just, as a sci-fi author, that is something that really just, as much as I don't love looking at the news all the time because it tends to be pretty depressing. But when I'm looking at kind of what's going on in the world of, technological advances, which is also kind of depressing sometimes, which I'll get into with the quantum computer thing. So the idea that these possibilities on other planets, for me, that just feeds my writer soul and the types of stories that I get to tell and looking at all the what ifs. So, oh, Ricky, hey, good to see you. I missed you on Easter. I don't think I saw you, but I'm sure you were there. So that I find it, every time I see one of these possible life on other planet articles, I don't know, I just get excited, even though I know there's not going to be any proofs because these things are too far away. We just wouldn't be able to prove it. So, and I have other thoughts about it, but oh, hi, Abby. Oh my goodness, a Realmy friend. Good to see you. I'm talking about possible life on other planets that they constantly do articles about. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit like that to me, that one's kind of the fun one. Even though there are scary possibilities if there are aliens out there who want to annihilate us. But the quantum computer breakthrough that apparently happened in China recently. So I'm going to have to, I hate that it pauses the live when I go peek at the article, but the only way I can probably, oh yeah, there's some critters in the bushes over there, maybe some more bunnies. That's what I'm going to say, bunnies, not gators. So I'm going to pause it for just a second and grab this article title. China breaks quantum barrier code with code breaking. That's kind of the title of this article. Can I have another leaf blower? Talking about this quantum computer that's like photon lasers. Oh my gosh, it's crazy when it describes in this article what this computer is made of and how it works. I don't understand how it works, but some of the things that I do understand about it are it's taking computation, the ability to calculate, to 10 to the 15th power above any current supercomputers. So here's what that could mean. So I think it even in the article it says it's like a 90-point integer. It's not in front of me, so I'm making stuff up, honestly. But if you go look up this breakthrough with China and their quantum computer, they're saying in the article that basically China has pulled ahead in this particular tech race. And they're saying the implications are, if this computer can calculate at that rate, then, and it's like, they put it in these terms, it can calculate in 2.5 seconds, billions of years. That's how they're wording it, of data. And it's, to me, that's too, way too broad to even help a layperson understand what that even means. Like, well, what is it exactly calculating? But what it is calculating is it's solving problems so quickly that the idea of data breaches, like the current passwords and the things that lock down our passwords, and it would like annihilate that kind of thing. Like it makes data breaches, like it would become the norm, because it could just calculate so quickly to get through any codes that would be in its way. It would kind of be like a fly swatter. If let's just call my little computer has a fly swatter, their computer has a bazooka. So that's concerning. And it's one of those, again, as a sci-fi author, it does bring in ideas. Like I'm thinking about all the thriller writers who have the sci-fi element. Like that would be a great tech thriller about what is happening in the realm of quantum computer that is genuinely our present day now. So I found that fascinating, a little terrifying, and apparently I'm going to turn around here. Okay, so the sun might be in my face. We'll see if I think I need my sunglasses. Okay, so if you saw my podcast last week, and if you didn't get a chance, it's really good because I interviewed this author named Alan Brocken. He is helping me understand all of this stuff because he is an AI specialist at a really big tech company, and I interviewed him quite a few months back, but I reshared on my podcast last week. So when I shared it again, it was like a refresher of what he had, kind of the info he had given. And so to tie it in, good morning, to tie it into the quantum computer piece, Alan Brocken is the name of that author. He was explaining how these microchips, so they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, which is why the computing power gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's where the quantum computer piece comes in. It means the chips are so small. It's like they're I don't know if I'm saying this exactly right. Be sure to go watch that episode from last week. It's in my reels, in my highlights. If you find Sci-Fi and Sunshine podcast in my highlights, you'll be able to click through to see each week. So last week, episode 8, is where you will get him describing it better than I am. But these micro chips that are being built by other machines, it's all very sci-fi. These microchips are so small, creating this ability for these computers to do these computations, and the errors that are coming out of it is often because of things like the temperature change at that level can cause things to shift, because it's so small that even a minor shift in temperature change can affect the chip. And so that was one example he gave of why these things tend to have errors. And it's been a problem for all the major tech companies. So the quantum realm, like, when I think of the quantum realm and like getting smaller and smaller and smaller, oh yeah, we all think of Ant-Man, right? That's like my closest approximation to even put a picture on what the quantum realm even means, or what quantum physics means. It's a lot of it is goes way over my head, but I do find it fascinating, and I wonder if you do too. So the last article, I had one more thing that I wanted to share before I'm walking on Patel's Trail to this little outdoor fitness center that I really like to work out in. So I'm going to do that, but before I go, so the last one was, the title of the article is something like, America claims to be able to bend time and space. So So I read the article. Like I said, I don't actually do the news a lot. I heard about this because of kind of trying to keep up with tech stuff a little bit. And I have so many thoughts on that one. But I think the thing that I want to end with is like, that's quite an interesting claim. I don't know exactly how to comment on it in any kind of informed way. So just, take this as a personal opinion based on a very vague article. Didn't even watch the press conference where the person was making the statements. I may later, but I haven't done that yet. So bending space and time. What that makes me think of is the Madeleine L'Engle novels, A Wrinkle in Time. And those books actually do a really good job of explaining the bending of space and time and what that could all mean. But ultimately, the idea would be time travel. The idea would be faster than light speed travel. And I'm not giving any credence to the claim itself. I'm just kind of taking it and running with it. But I will say, just like the other two articles that I had read, like the aliens possible and the quantum computing, this is another thing that just gives me so many ideas as a sci-fi author, like, how can I use that? And I'm going to segue that into my end point, and then I'm here at this little park to do my little weightlifting. So I'm going to segue into something that's coming is another Cricket, the artificially intelligent avatar story. So, and if you read the first Cricket story, called Backlash, Frontlash, Whiplash, there was there was an element of time travel in that story. It was not pervasive, but there was a piece of it in there. The majority of the story is just about the creation of this holographic avatar and the woman who creates her realizing that she's not going to behave the way she's supposed to. So that's the short story Backlash, Frontlash, Whiplash, which you can go to my website, briaburton.com, to check that one out before the news story comes out. So this is me kind of announcing that, but I will put out some other announcements as well. The news story is going to be part of the Light Fantastic 2, which is an anthology by a group of authors that I'm a part of. And so we're going to have we have like 10 short stories we're going to be releasing. Okay, this is a good place for me to pause and stop walking. We're going to be releasing these short stories in May, and so I'm very excited for you all to check out. They're all humor stories in the sci-fi fantasy horror realm. That's hard to say, horror realm. There's not a lot of horror. Like, honestly, we include that if any of the authors want to write horror, but this particular anthology because it's humor, if one of the stories is horror, which I don't think any of them are, it would be like in the realm of Zombieland, where it's funny, funny zombies. Okay, so that is coming out. I am super excited to share that with you all, and Cricket has been a little quiet over on Facebook because she gets busy. She's busy, quantum computing. So if you're on my Facebook, you can follow Cricket the AI. She took over and she's semi-entertaining, at least some find her entertaining. Okay, so that is pretty much all I had for today's episode. We're live again, which I have fun going live too. It's almost simpler than recording and then uploading, but anyway. I have to go back and forth and figure out exactly the best way to go about this. You're all in on my scientific experiment here of this podcast. So thank you for joining, Larissa and Ricky and Abby. It was so good to see all of you. I'm getting more than one fan. Yay. It's not just family members. Okay, so everybody, I'm trying to memorize my outro, and I don't necessarily have it memorized, so I'm gonna try to do it right now. Okay. As you go into this sci-fi world we all find ourselves living in, may you be the sunshine to the people around you today. Bye. See you next time. That's all for now. As you venture through this sci-fi world we all find ourselves living in, may you be the sunshine to the people around you today. Adios.